Hola, me llamo Maddie,
Me llamo Erica.
and we're going to be doing a mini lesson on stem changing verbs
The irregular yo conjugations.
and the verb ear.
What are stem changing verbs?
So, stem changing verbs are the stem or main part of the verb changes in specific conjugations. They're also known as boot verbs, and we'll get into an example of that later. But the stem part of the verb that changes is what's left of the word after you remove the AR, the ER, or IR from the infinitive, the ending. So, some examples are, let me pull it up. So, I have some examples here. We have E to IE, I just turned it off. O to UE, and E to I. So an example for E to IE would be pensar. So the middle EN would change to IE. So pienso, piensas, piensa, piensan. Same thing for O to UE, that would be dormir. So an example would be yo duermo, tú duermes. And then E to I would be pedir, which would be yo pido, pides, pide, and piden.
But wait, what about nosotros conjugation?
The stem change happens in all forms except for nosotros and vosotros. So although the yo form for pensar is pienso, the nosotros form is pensamos. There's no change.
Are these different from regular verbs?
So regular verbs only change the endings of the infinitive and the stem stays the same. In stem changing verbs, only the stem changes inside the verb. So an example for a regular verb would be hablar, which is to talk. Habló, hablas, habla would be the conjugation. Yo hablo con mi mamá mientras vemos el partido. I talk with my mom while we watch a game. So the end, hablar, of hablar changes. In stem changing verbs, like I said, the stem changes. So an example would be pensar. Yo conjugation would be pienso, tú would be piensas, ella would be piensa. It's E to IE in the middle of the verb. So a sentence would be yo pienso que la playa es muy divertida. I think that the beach is very fun. Only the middle of the word the stem changes. Whereas a regular verb, hablar, only the end changes.
Is there an easy way to remember this?
Think of the verb as a leaf with a stem. The middle of the verb is the stem and the endings is the leaf. So what changes is the name. So what changes is in the name of the stem change, of the word stem change. Stem changing verbs, so obviously only the stem changes. To remember correct conjugations, you should draw a boot and write out each conjugation. So I have an example here. If you were to write out all of, let's see, you did pedir, you could draw, I don't know if you can see it, you write out all the conjugations and then you basically just draw a boot on the chart. Let's do a better boot. Shoop. Those are what changed. Those are the stem changing, and notice how nosotros and vosotros don't change, like we mentioned before.
What is ear?
Ir is the verb to go. It is conjugated like so. Yo voy, tú vas, ella va, nosotros vamos, and ellos van. How can the verb ir be used?
There are actually two ways to use ear in a sentence. One, to describe someone's destination, or two, to describe someone's future plans. We use it to describe someone's destination.
There is a formula to using ir when describing a person's destination. It is ir plus a plus the destination that you're describing. So an example would be,
Ejemplo es, yo voy a la cafeteria.
yo voy al baño. How do you describe future plans?
There is a formula to using ear when describing future plans. Ir plus a plus infinitive. Por ejemplo, ella va a estudiar para el examen.
Some things to remember are when the destination or infinitive is masculine, combine the a plus the l to say al.
Por ejemplo, yo voy al partido de baloncesto o yo voy al cine.
So, what are the typical yo conjugations versus the irregular verbs?
So, for example, if you were to take the two IR verbs, escribir and conducir, they're obviously both IR verbs, except one is regular and one is irregular. In the case of a regular yo conjugation, you would drop the last two letters of a word, so IR, AR, or ER, and you would replace it with O. So, for example, with escribir, the regular yo conjugation would be escribo. You would just add an O. But for an irregular verb such as conducir, you would drop the IR and you would add a ZCO. So it would be conduzco instead of conduco, which just wouldn't make sense. So there are three groups of like these irregular verbs that I'll discuss later, but that's the main difference.
So, what makes these verbs special?
Only the yo form is irregular. The rest are all regular. So if we were to use conducir again, the yo conjugation is conduzco. But for the rest of the conjugations, they're all just regular conjugations.
I also heard there are three groups of these irregular yo verbs.
So yes, there are three. So the first one are the verbs ending in go. These include salgo, ago, pongo, tango, vengo, and trigo. The second group are the ZCO verbs, and these include conozco and conduzco only. And the third group are the more unique forms, so se, veo, and doy.
What's a fun way to remember these?
A fun way to remember these irregular yo conjugation would be from this catchy Spanish class song you may have heard before called the Irregular Yo Form Song. Okay, two examples of the irregular yo conjugation include yo traigo mi mochila a la clase, or I bring my backpack to class, y yo no sé la fecha, I don't know the date.
Adios!